What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first day of the round of 8 here in the ASL. We've got, I think, what is going to be one of the best ZVZs of the entire year coming up tonight.
Oh, for sure. SoulKey looking completely on top of his game, dominating his round of 16 group, going up against Queen, the favorite of ASL for the last few seasons.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting match. I think it's very difficult to say who is going to come out on top. I think these guys are very evenly matched, and really the two best ZVZ players I think there are that are currently active right now. Guys, once again, thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. If you haven't already, you can go to patreon.com/ASL English. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you have access to stuff that you otherwise would not be able to get, such as the secret Tastosis podcast, where you can hear our banter and chatter before the casting starts.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. To just kind of record the way that we actually chat before we cast. All right, so let's take a look at the round of 8. Today we have our ZVZ. Next time we are going to have our Terran versus our only Protoss in that round of 8. Then, of course, we have Soma Rush and Light Hero. I love that side of the bracket. Very excited for it. But tonight, like you mentioned, two of our best Zergs going at it. And I don't know about you, Tastosis, but I'm feeling like Queen is favored against SoulKey.
You might be right, but I do think SoulKey is extremely gifted at the mind games and prepping for a best of 7, best of 5.
Yeah.
Going into this. So I don't want to count SoulKey out. I think that maybe Queen's control is a little bit sharper. Like if Queen's at a 10, SoulKey's at a 9. But ZVZ is a very subtle matchup. There's a lot of different mind games that can take place here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how exactly things are going to unfold.
Yeah. The thing is, I basically side with you on that. Like, SoulKey's great, but he's a little bit more of a heavy macro Zerg, so a bit nervous about that micro going against him.
김명훈 선수 입장에서 이제 빨간불 들어왔습니다.
본진 쪽 언덕에 히드라가 올라와 있습니다.
추가 병력도 와요.
조합은 깼고.
진짜 잘 빼네요. 이번 시즌 8강 유치하는 김명훈.
이 김민철 선수는 저구전에서 좀 연패를 이어가고 있는데
김명훈 선수 내 인생 최초로 저 2연속 우승 가능합니다.
민철이가 저저저는 되게 못하거든요. 1등으로 올라가서 저랑 만났으면 좋겠어요. 저도 명훈 형이랑 붙고 싶네요. 진짜 붙고 싶어요. 그 사람은.
지치지 않는 청춘과 열정, 젊음을 대표하는 에너지 드링크 식스와 퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어가 함께합니다. ASL 시즌12 8강 1경기로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이현경입니다. 지난주까지 치열했던 16강이 모두 끝나고 이제 정말 강자인 8명의 선수들만이 살아남았습니다. 8강 매치도 모두 빅매치로 성사가 됐는데요. 오늘은 그 첫 번째 경기 김민철 선수와 김명훈 선수의 대결이 펼쳐집니다. 이 오랫동안 함께했던 두 선수이니만큼 서로에 대해서 정말 잘 알고 있는 선수들이죠. 깐부라고 일컬을 수 있는 두 선수 지금 바로 만나보겠습니다. 김민철 선수와 김명훈 선수입니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
반갑습니다.
안녕하세요.
네, 제가 뽑았던 8강 대진 중에 정말 뿌듯했던 매치 중 하나가 또 이 두 선수의 매치입니다. 이 두 선수의 생각은 어떤지 좀 궁금한데요. 김민철 선수, 김명훈 선수와의 대진이 성사됐을 때 소감이 어땠나요?
근데 진짜 만날 줄 몰랐어요. 근데 그걸 뽑아주시더라고요. 근데 뭐 넘어야 될 산 아닌가 싶어서 오히려 잘 됐다 싶고 너무 준비 잘해왔습니다.
집념이 굉장히 좀 보였거든요. 김민철 선수에게서 찢고 싶다라는 단어를 사람에게는 좀 사용하기 힘든 단어인데 그만큼 김명훈 선수를 정말 만나고 싶다는 좀 약간의 간절함이 느껴졌습니다. 연습 과정에서도 좀 그런 간절함으로 좀 임하셨을 것 같은데요.
네, 인터뷰 그렇게 했는지를 기억이 안 나더라고요, 제가. 근데 아까 보고 알았어요. 했구나. 약간 표현이 조금 거칠었는데 근데 지금 마음도 똑같아요. 찢을게요.
김명훈 선수와도 이야기를 좀 나눠봐야겠는데요. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
만나고 싶어 하셨잖아요.
저는 만나고 싶어 했는데 민철이는 솔직히 아니었을 거거든요. 진짜로 만나게 돼서 지금 되게 당황스럽고 초조할 거예요.
근데 김명훈 선수는 제가 딱 조를 추첨했을 때 약간 애써 웃음을 좀 감추는 좋아하는 모습을 좀 참는 듯한 느낌이 있었거든요.
저는 솔직히 말해서 민철이가 제일 만만하거든요. 근데 만나기가 좀 꺼려졌던 이유는 민철이가 누가 봐도 우승 후보고 잘하는 선수인데 저한테는 질 것 같거든요. 누가 봐도.
네, 누가 봐도요.
네, 그래서 미안한 감정 때문에 웃음을 참았던 거고 제가 자신 없진 않아요.
미안함 때문에 너무 좋아하는 걸 티낼 수 없었다라고 김명훈 선수가 얘기했거든요. 김민철 선수 지금 약이 좀 오르실 것 같아요.
근데 이게 저저전 좋아하는 사람들 특징이 있더라고요. 자신감이 좀 과해요.
과하다.
저 자신감을 일단 박살 내도록 하겠습니다.
과하다. 자, 과한 김명훈 선수의 자신감이라고 김민철 선수가 이야기를 해줬는데요. 맞대결이 또 굉장히 기대되는 이유가 게이머 시절 때부터 오랫동안 또 한 팀에 계시기도 했고 또 워낙 서로 도발을 거리낌 없이 하는 두 선수이기 때문에 그런 것 같아요. 어떤 선수와 좀 준비를 하셨나요? 경쟁 상대, 연습 상대 구하기가 쉽지 않았을 것 같아요.
네, 저는 일단 브레인이죠. 유난히 형도 연습을 도와줬고
네.
짭제 박상현 선수랑 그리고 한두열 김정우 선수 이렇게 연습을 했어요.
김명훈 선수도 좋아하는 모습을 감추면서 상대에게 백신을 권유함과 동시에 바로 연습 상대를 구하는 모습이 있었습니다.
네, 김성대 선수, 조일장 선수랑 했는데 방금 김윤환 선수를 얘기했잖아요. 근데 김윤환 선수가 민철이 쪽에 붙은 걸 알고 일부러 그냥 기분 좋으라고 카톡을 한번 해줬어요. 연습을 했냐 민철이랑.
네.
근데 역시나 좋아하더라고요. 예, 그런 선수랑 했기 때문에 제가 연습은 더 잘했다라고 생각이 들어요.
연습 과정 자체는 굉장히 만족스러워 보이시는데요?
네, 그 두 명이랑만 했는데 그 두 명이 너무 잘 도와줘가지고 준비는 되게 완벽하게 된 것 같아요.
굉장히 신경전이 팽팽한 두 선수와 함께 이야기를 좀 나눠보고 있습니다. 두 선수의 서로에 대한 좀 의견을 여쭤보면 좀 약점을 좀 말씀하실 것 같아서 강점에 대해서 좀 여쭤보려고 합니다. 김민철 선수가 생각하는 김명훈 선수의 강점은 뭔가요?
강점이라고 하면은 운이 좋아요. 네.
정말 중요한 요소죠. 승리함에 있어서 운도 정말 중요한 요소인데 특히 저저전에서 운이 좋다라는 말은 굉장한 좀 칭찬으로 들리거든요. 김명훈 선수, 김민철 선수의 어떤 점을 좀 인정해주고 싶으신가요?
민철이는 운이 진짜 더럽게 없는데 실력이 좋아요. 네, 운 없는 거를 실력으로 극복을 하는 그런 선수라서 오늘 운이 좋아도 힘들지 않나 생각은 들어요.
오늘 두 선수의 대담만으로 좀 종합해 본다면 운과 실력의 대결이라고도 할 수 있을 것 같은데 그만큼 두 선수 모두 4강에 오르고 싶은 간절함이 대단해 보입니다. 끝으로 두 선수의 각오를 여쭤보겠습니다. 김민철 선수 한 말씀 해주시죠.
오늘 일단 준비 잘해왔으니까 많은 분들이 명훈 형이 이길 거라고 생각을 많이 하셨을 건데 오늘 꼭 그 결과가 다를 거라고 보여드리겠습니다.
김명훈 선수.
네, 민철이가 우승 후보라고 생각은 다들 하실 텐데 저저전을 못해서 저런 반쪽짜리 우승자는 절대 배출하지 않을 생각이고요. 오늘 김민철을 반쪽짜리 적으로 만들어드리도록 하겠습니다.
자, 과연 어떤 선수가 꽉 찬 적으로 이번 시즌 첫 4강 진출자가 될지 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 오늘의 첫 번째 경기를 앞두고 있는 김민철 선수와 김명훈 선수 만나봤습니다. 이번 시즌 첫 시드권을 획득할 선수는 어떤 선수가 될지 지금부터 ASL 시즌12의 8강 첫 번째 경기 함께 만나보시죠.
Is it? All right. It seems like they weren't sure if it was time to get up or not.
Well, that doesn't bode well for either of them. You got to be decisive as a ZVZ player.
This is one of the funny things is whenever we have these shows, there is some direction the players oftentimes have to follow when you get to like round of 8 or up. But a lot of times the players are so caught up with like what they're going to do in the game and trying to get in the zone, they totally screw up what they need to do on stage. But that was a funny moment.
There's always funny moments like that too. Do you remember some of the earlier seasons where they would all sit in the chair and there was a TV that showed them? And some of them would only stare at themselves the entire time. Like Calm would only stare at himself the entire time.
This was like several seasons ago. Yeah, there was a preview screen for the the host was Hyungyeon, the woman who was interviewing them earlier. And yeah, the preview monitor happened to be gigantic, and so all the players would just stare at themselves and not look at the camera when they did the interview. It was totally weird.
No, it was... well, there's no more media training. Kespa actually used to do that for them when there was pro teams, but here we are in the new era, Tasteless, and no one knows when to get out of their seats. All right, so look at those ZVZ win rates. Queen actually much higher than SoulKey overall there. Like I mentioned this, I think, last time when we were doing the group draw, that ZVZ has held SoulKey back a little bit. It's hard to be really stable in that matchup, and normally the heavier macro Zergs suffer a little bit more, whereas the aggressive Zergs seem to do a bit better in Zerg vs. Zerg.
This is going to be a fun series, no doubt. You know, I do wonder if it comes down to it, you know, I just can't imagine SoulKey having better Mutamicro than Queen, but am I wrong about that? I feel like when I think of SoulKey, he's the one Zerg player where I never think of his micro in general. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that's not really what he's all about. He is a big-time macro Zerg that makes a lot of good decisions with his army over and over and over. So it's not like a Queen or a Soma where you watch them go in and it's like, no, they shouldn't be able to kill all this, and then they do. That's not SoulKey at all. He looks at that and he's like, I shouldn't be able to kill all that. But if I make this many more units, I can kill all that, and then he does it. You know, he's someone who's going to overwhelm you with his macro rather than his micro.
Yeah, the thing about SoulKey is he's so good at corner cutting that a lot of times his wins almost seem unremarkable. You'll just see him suddenly have way more and squish them, and sometimes those are the scariest Zergs to go against. Now, obviously, ZVZ has many limitations in how it can operate as a matchup because this is the lowest econ matchup, I think, in like any RTS game there is. Like, you know, these Warcraft 3 games where it's like, he has 5 Acolytes on the gold mine. I'm like, I think there's ZVZ that are even tighter than that.
Sometimes, you're right. Yeah. Because I was actually going through my mind about Warcraft 3 because I'm like, that game barely has economy. Let's think about that. But, it's something similar.
I think the economy is lower in StarCraft, Brood War, ZVZ than I think anywhere else you can go.
Basically, I think you're right.
In any serious RTS.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, so it is very low income. Well, there's so few units, too. It really does come down to very decisive moves and really great micro. Something that we've seen, specifically the thing that sticks out in my mind about SoulKey's Zerg vs. Zerg, he's a guy that like always splits a couple lings off of his army and tries to sneak them in when you attack him. So that's... I don't know, that's like the defining thing that I think about with SoulKey ZVZ. And I bet you we see him do that a lot tonight.
Yeah, SoulKey is a guy that really knows how to dominate. And when he looks to be strong, he does look like he is the best Zerg there is. But Queen has had such incredible results, and it does seem like SoulKey has not been as much of a competitive tournament player as Queen has been.
Yeah. You know, I think whoever wins here is pretty... the whole round of 8 is very, very tough. And I'm trying to make some sort of statement like the person who wins here should go to the finals, but I don't know. I think that they'll probably be slightly favored. And I'm kind of, right now, I'm like going through the calculus in my head of the odds of Queen winning a 3rd ASL, you know?
Well, that would be pretty insane if he did manage to pull that off, considering how much success he's had recently. That would be pretty wild. I mean, Queen is, if you had to pick a best player in the tournament, he's always a safe bet. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's see what this ZVZ is gonna show us here.
This song.
I know this song is throwing me off. I cannot try to build hype while this is playing. Yeah, I didn't recognize the game it's from either. It was clearly an OST, like an original soundtrack from a game, but I didn't.
Oh, I thought it was like his younger brother playing the recorder.
He's like, and for my thing, I want my little brother playing the recorder.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're going to start this off on Polypoid, then Largo, Ascension, Goodnight, and Revolver. in this best of 5, the survivor of tonight will be the first player to move into the round of, the final 4. The round of 4.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that works too.
That works too. I second-guessed myself. Guys, let's get this going. A ZVZ with, I think, 2 of the best ZVZ players in the world right now. Let's do this.
All right, so we have SoulKey there, down in the bottom right. And in the top right, we have Queen. Of course, our map is polypoid. Very, very standard. And it looks like Queen is sending his Overlord in that correct direction. So he'll have a tiny edge because of that.
So let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of Zerg versus Zerg, because this is a funny matchup in that it's quite different in a lot of ways from the way the other matchups operate. You know, macro really isn't that much of a thing. You don't really end up with players who are just so much mechanically better that they're going to outproduce you. And that's basically because you almost never have more than 2 or 3 hatcheries in the game, right? And so even a, you know, F or D rank ladder player can basically keep up with production. It's not that challenging. And so a lot just comes down to control. And how well you are at microing lings, at microing mutas. Also, you know, another important note here, and I know people that have been following ZVZ forever know this, but I think it's always better to kind of remind people, you can't really get outside of making lings and mutas and Scourge. Like, there's no Hydras, there's no, generally speaking, no Hive Tech, although, you know, if we get along ZVZ where they can't kill each other, maybe we will go into that territory, but... And so people have had to become very creative and tricky with how they're going to approach the matchup. And, you know, we can have hatchery first, but it looks like in this game, on both sides, it's going to be early pool, although I don't see SoulKey getting gas just yet. He might be saving up to get a hatchery here.
Yeah, so he went like over pool, and this is a 9 pool from Queen, I believe. So SoulKey should be just, I guess, getting that hatchery up quite a bit quicker. He's a little bit down in drones right now. Queen about to hit that 100 gas and immediately into speed.
Yeah, and we know that because there's no layer. And so these lings are going to be inbound here, and SoulKey can survive this. I think that's 6 lings making. I'm not entirely sure, but the issue is going to be that when the ling's speed finishes, Queen's Zerglings are going to be significantly stronger. Lings with speed are not just faster than lings without speed. They always win the fights because of the way the initiation goes.
Yeah, they're going to like kind of close onto what they're trying to attack and get better surface area and things like that. So definitely speedlings do very well overall against slowlings. Now, SoulKey's pushing out here. He does have a 2 Zergling advantage right now because we're over near his base. But more lings coming down for Queen. Of course, his speed upgrade will be done relatively soon here.
And the pressure is really on right now for Queen because he doesn't have a second hatchery. And when SoulKey's hatchery finishes, that's going to be double the production. But I feel like SoulKey is already in a pretty good position, a pretty winning position, considering, and if SoulKey is going to win, I feel like the games are going to look like this, where he does a build order that basically gets to sidestep what Queen's doing.
Well, he's going to have to either like mass out a bunch of lings to attack, or eventually go into some spores here for a longer macro game, which I'm not surprised to see him kind of go towards that for his style. He's like a lot closer to a player like Larva than he would be to Queen, so no big surprise to see him kind of going for this. Now, a lot of lings coming up. Queen has a nice concave up at the top of this ramp. That's going to be hard to break through.
Yeah, and this is a pretty perfect concave here. He does manage to kill 1 ling on the bottom, but does not decide to run through, and you can see he's rotating these extra lings in there quite nicely. Now the ling counterattack is going to come, and it seems like there was a little bit of a mini mind game going on there. SoulKey had more lings back here to try to stop this, but basically Queen waited in a pretty surprisingly long period of time, and then sends them into the last second. And it seems like Queen actually outthinking SoulKey's attempt to outthink him.
Getting right in on top of these drones. He already killed one drone at the natural. Another drone looks like it might fall. Ooh, he actually kills those Lings off. Seems like SoulKey will defend from here. Oh, the Ling wrapping back around. There is one drone in there that's very, very damaged.
So the layer's done, but we need to check over here for Queen and see how far along the Spire is, because mutas are going to be coming out very quickly. It looks like it's almost finished now. You can see SoulKey's going to try to lean in here and do a little bit of extra damage, maybe pressure some more Zerglings to come out. But right now, Queen's got very good control over this ramp.
Yeah, I think he's defending this ramp as well as you ever could. He's making great concaves. He's pulling back the right time attack, moving at the right time. We have spores starting to go up here for SoulKey, which is very, very important. Double spore there at the natural. But another Ling counterattack coming in from Queen. Looks like he does defend that for now and running home with the rest of his Lings. But now we get to see if SoulKey can defend against everything while mutas are coming over to harass him.
Yeah, the mutas are now out. They're headed southbound here. And the Lings are going to have to return back home. But this should be going into mid-game ZVZ, as there's basically going to be enough spores here that Queen can't really do any damage. He is going to have map control. I don't know if he's going to find that Overlord there in the top left, but this means Queen is going to expand. He'll have a bit of a tech advantage. It'll be up to SoulKey to now play catch-up.
It's funny that you say that, and I don't disagree that, before 6 minutes, we're already in the mid-game. I guess late game would be when we have 2 Spires up, right? That's ZVZ late game.
Well, ZVZ is always a treat when it goes on for a long period of time. It's such a delicate matchup, but when you get to the point where they can't kill each other and it just becomes air upgrades and maybe hive tech, I really enjoy casting that. And I feel like you and I especially have not together casted that many epic long ZVZs. Am I right?
Well, there haven't been that many epic long ZVZs, so you're definitely right. But yeah, I know they're very interesting when it occurs, and it's probably the least mapped out. That portion of the game is probably the least mapped out of anything in StarCraft 1. Yeah,
it happens so rarely because good players are so good at killing each other almost outright. That we don't normally get to that, but maybe we'll get lucky today. We'll see. 3 drone kills, pretty big, as more and more mutas are beginning to build up here. Now, SoulKey, he fought to get into this position, but he has to weather the storm from here on out. He basically has to try to start taking advantage of that second gas and try to play catch-up with the Mutalisks.
Yeah, and we're going to see if he's able to, because the second hatchery just finished for Queen, so he can actually get more gas going here as well. A dive in now onto some of these drones, kills 3 more, but loses another muta. So that's twice now that he's killed 3 drones for the cost of 1 Mutalisk. Do you think that's worth?
I think it's worth it,
situation?
Man. 100%. I like it for Queen.
Okay.
I mean, with only 2 hatcheries, you're not able to produce that much. Oh wow, Ling run by. Hold on, how many drones are actually in the main? He could even this out very quickly, just getting a few worker kills.
Looks like he just barely won't get him, but SoulKey coming up with another tech. Nope, turns around as the drones are pulled too quickly. Some Scourge going up the map as well, looking for maybe a free muta kill. I don't think he's going to get it, though.
Yeah, I think the idea is that as they're going to try to come into the south here, you can, bash into them with those Scourge, but I think he's basically going to see there's no opportunities. He has to go ahead and turn around.
Yeah, those Scourge are still kind of scouting around a little bit up there. A little Ling counterattack. Ooh, does not quite get it. 2 health left over.
Did we get a chance to see the upgrades for Queen? Is it possible he's getting armor or attack here?
He does not have either yet, so not sure if he started them or not.
So basically, SoulKey, because he's been mining from 2 gases for longer, he's going to try to catch up now with the Mutalisks, unless the damage that Queen did was so high that basically Queen has won this arms race and just can continue to keep more Mutalisks out. Stuff like this is the one moment I really wish we did have a ticker to see how many mutas are out, because it can be very difficult to see when you just look at a clump of them. Like the easiest way to try to tell how many mutas are in a group is to actually look at the shadow, if you want a little tip. because the shadow gets considerably darker the more there are.
Yeah. It is pretty tough to tell there, though. You know, by the way, I was just kind of thinking about this, where SoulKey is in a situation where he kind of has to catch up on the mutas. I feel like he should have started a carapace upgrade immediately, which means Queen should have one on the way as well, right?
It would seem to me that, yeah, first of all, the carapace upgrade versus the attack upgrade for mutas. Carapace is always better in muta versus muta, but the carapace upgrade is slightly more expensive, so there are moments where it's acceptable. By the way, he does have the carapace upgrade.
Yep. Looks like it just finished up.
But there are moments it's acceptable to get attack, but you know, you're going to be in a bad position if this game could be stretched out to an extremely long one.
Okay, now, no upgrade yet for SoulKey. His would be a little bit later. One interesting thing is he kept some mutas way over on the left side of the map. I think he was looking to possibly do a counter dive in or come in from a funny angle, but that did not really occur for him. And as Queen is coming in here and doing some harassment, the Glaives even killing some drones on gas, which is so painful. He has to bring all of his mutas back. He does now also have the +1 carapace.
So this means they can fight each other. If you think you have an advantage, you can actually try to take that. I love what he's doing here with these mutas, just pelting this extractor and then using the Glaives to basically hit the drones through there. This fight, poof, nice shot there. Takes out those two Scourge. And I don't know, man. I feel like Queen is in a very comfortable position. He's continuously flicking down these Overlords, Scourge, anything that gets too close to him.
And it does so much damage as well. You know, it's just kind of ridiculous. Now look at this. A dive onto SoulKey's muta. SoulKey pulls back to the spores, and Queen turns around. Queen once again flying around with two groups here. So cool to see him really trying to utilize two groups of mutas at once. Such a different world we're living in these days.
No, this is pretty insane. And now he could basically sit in between the two hatcheries here, and this puts a real strain on the rally points and everything else. He also seems to have enough Scourge. He doesn't seem to think that he can actually dive in and get the kill over the spores yet, but you got to keep in mind on 4-player maps like this, you really are in a corner. So if he does get a critical number where he can just ignore the spores, you're basically going to get pinned over here in the bottom right. These Scourge are going to collide in with your mutas. So another spore is going to come down here.
Yeah, I think SoulKey has the right idea by adding spores. I think he needs to add spores in both locations. Like, he needs to just start massing them a bit because he's not really catching up on the mutas right now. And it's a problem. He does have that third hatchery, which is really powerful, but yeah, look at this. Queen getting in on top of everything. He has to fly to the natural with his mutas, but it's not going to be enough. I think Queen is going to get the kill here.
I think you're probably right, but here comes some more Scourge coming out here. Is there a chance that Queen actually overextended? It seems like Queen thinks so, as SoulKey is now going to try to fight back here. A couple more mutas do end up in the group. A lot of them, though, very low on HP. Keep in mind, these bouncing Glaives can be devastating.
All right, another creep going up since he did lose that one spore. In comes Queen once again, putting some damage on it. Picks off a drone there with the bouncing Glaives. Oh, gets a muta as well. Queen definitely in control of this game, and he has been for the entirety of it.
Yeah, Queen continuing to box SoulKey into this corner. SoulKey barely hanging on, but it seems like SoulKey may just barely have enough mutas here. These Scourge actually connecting with the targets.
Ooh, okay, so he is going to get some more spores up, but I like these Lings coming down as well. That's really going to put a lot of pressure on SoulKey, right? Like, to defend even 4 Lings of your natural while the mutas are like maybe hitting the main or something, that's pretty difficult. Now his muta's coming in from the side, picks off a Scourge there, puts some more damage out.
Yeah, there's another spore in the main, so he can't keep hitting that extractor, which was, I mean, I gotta say, so far it's been a pretty impressive defense here from SoulKey, and Tastosis, I think we're actually now going to be getting into late game. We have a third base coming here.
Yeah, that's pretty damn late. Third base in ZVZ, it's really not common, guys. A lot of times it's like what you see is the third base. Oh, wow, +2 carapace as well. That's pretty huge. So the first carapace upgrade in Zerg vs. Zerg, like muta vs. muta, by the way, guys, prevents 3 damage because of Glaives. The second one prevents 2 damage. So both are actually better than the +1 attack, which adds only +1 attack. And that's because of the Glaive bounces.
Yeah, it really matters mostly because mutas have these things that bounce when they attack each other. So
yeah, they do 9, 3, and 1. So the first carapace gets rid of the last one altogether, and then 1 off of each. And then that second carapace takes 1 off the first attack and 1 off the second.
Oh, does the third attack not do damage then? I thought it always did 1 damage.
No, I believe that the carapace basically makes it do 0, but I think things that do 0 damage alternate between 0 and 1 damage. If I'm not mistaken. It's like even if you have a full upgraded Ultralisk, occasionally it will take damage from an SCV. You know what I mean? Okay, got it. I'm fairly certain that's how it works, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, someone let us know on Twitter if we're wrong. The Lings are going to be out here trying to hit this third base, and this does put a strain on Queen. I mean, Queen basically has been on the offense the entire game. But he doesn't really have defense back at home, so these mutas need to basically put out fires. And what SoulKey has set up is ingenious. He's threatening the hatchery, and then he's going to have an opening here to come and collide into the natural.
Yeah, some Lings running up there as well. It seems like he didn't do that well with it. Does run away from those mutas. The Lings go up into the main. Ooh, he gets a drone there as well. Nice moves from SoulKey. I gotta say, he's playing a nice game here. It really felt like Queen was in charge, but now SoulKey's flying around. He's got his +2 carapace. He's getting some map control, and don't forget he has those spores. So it's hard for Queen to counterattack right now.
We haven't checked if a hive has started yet, but I do wonder if this game continues to go on, if that's going to be the story here. Now hitting these overlords, and keep in mind how tight this game is. He's going to now have supply blocked Queen. Queen, though, trying to set up for a counterattack. Keep in mind, one side with spores, the other without.
Yeah, and now the Muta's going to go towards that third base. I think he will get that to clean up these Lings as well. SoulKey seems to be outplaying Queen as we get later into this game. This is just a beautiful game out of SoulKey.
Yeah, you're really seeing the positional play. Keep in mind, there's no air defense over here for Queen, but at the same time, there's not real static ground defense over here for SoulKey. So these Lings can just run in here and try to snipe drones.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they'll get too much done. Some of them getting in and trying to snipe some spores down. I think Queen might realize that he's going to have to go for a killing move eventually here. He does have that +1 attack now. These are some of the most upgraded mutas we've ever seen in a Zerg vs. Zerg.
Yeah, they're just exploding that spore almost immediately. And is Queen going to try to take this fight? And is this possibly an overextension?
Well, he does have that one more upgrade, right? That's kind of big, but SoulKey with a Ling counterattack right now, going into that main base. He's having a hard time there, and now the Muta's just going ham on each other.
Yep, plus, yeah, with that +1 attack now incorporated here, it seems like he's going to have to just give up the main or fight for it here. Again, if he loses the main, I mean, he's going to basically lose the game because that's where the Spire is. Did SoulKey get the upgrade? I didn't actually see, or is this... Oh,
no, he's fighting
not yet,
with +0, so that's a little bit rough. No spores here either. It seems like Queen
wins.
Is going to finish him off.
That is something else, man. He did it. Queen comes out victorious, but what I got to say was a masterful Zerg versus Zerg. And by the way, he has like no drones back at home. I mean, he really got beaten up by that counterattack, but this is basically to take out the heart of the tech here. The Spire will be targeted, and that's going to be GG.
Yeah, I would say so. He doesn't have enough Lings to like do a full base trade or something like that. The Muta's gonna finish everything up, and I think that is about it. A very long ZVZ, a very interesting one, and really superbly played by both sides. I felt like Queen was dominating for quite some time, but SoulKey really came back and made it a game.
Yeah, and now it's just going to be these spores versus the Mutas, and that's going to be a GG. What a game. You could see Queen kind of reclining in his chair, you know, taking a big deep breath, as that was a tough one. I mean, SoulKey really put up a great fight. I could tell you guys we are absolutely in store for an amazing evening here of ZVZ. And, you know, Queen, it was really that +1 attack upgrade he got at the last second where he realized, okay, I can now tip the scale. I've got, I think, a little bit more than 2 control groups of mutas. I can gun down these spores. I can then, you know, force a fight, which SoulKey said. SoulKey agreed to it. He came in there, took that fight. Even though SoulKey killed off a lot of Lings in the counterattack, ultimately the player with the superior number of mutas does almost always win a ZVZ.
Yeah, it's pretty rare for the player that's using Ling tactics to win like that. Sometimes they'll get the edge on drones, which will let them get the edge on mutas, which finishes the game, but yeah, that's generally it. The player with more mutas able to take it down. That additional upgrade, like you mentioned, doing a great job there for Queen, so he does lead the series 1-0.
Okay, guys, we have a short break. When we come back, game number 2 in our round of 8 series with Queen versus SoulKey. Don't go away.
네, 안녕하세요. 김민철입니다. 첫 번째 키워드는 병행으로 한번 해볼게요. 많은 분들은 아시겠지만 지금 사회복무요원으로 같이 병행을 하고 있는데 사실 굉장히 뭔가 힘들더라고요. 이게 아침에 일어나서부터 계속 쭉 깨있는 상태에서 저녁에도 이제 게임을 한다는 게. 근데 오히려 이게 적응이 되니까 게임이 좀 더 잘 되는, 평소보다 예전보다 잘 되는 그런 느낌도 드는 것 같아요. 규칙적인 생활을 하다 보니까 경기력이 좀 좋지 않나 이런 생각도 들어요. 한 달 조금 남았는데 끝이 보여요. 너무 행복해요. 다음 키워드는 우승 후보로 해볼게요. 근데 우승 후보는 항상 ASL 할 때마다 많이 들어왔던 것 같아요. 그때마다 경기력은 좋았는데 항상 경기를 해보면은 항상 성적이 안 좋았거든요. 그래서 좌절을 하고 있었는데 이번엔 좀 다르지 않을까. 저 스스로도 게임이 좀 잘 된다고 느껴지고 있기 때문에 이번엔 좀 다르지 않을까라는 생각도 들어요. 너무 뿌듯하네요. 내가 철벽이라는 별명도 이제 해설팀 분들이 만들어 주셨던 거고 그런 식으로 전 띄워주시면 약간 관종인지 좋네요. 다음 키워드는 여기 저구전으로 해볼게요.
이몽규 선수거든요.
그냥 저는 운이 없어요. 실력도 사실 좀 부족한 건 맞긴 한데 운적인 측면에서 정말 부족하다고 생각을 많이 하거든요.
성적을 좀 보여줄 필요가 좀 있거든요.
예.
이렇게 생각을 하는데 앞마당을 먹은 상태가 승패를 주고받는 이런 그
상대의 그 앞마당 방향이 아니라
조금 더 부유한
실수라는 것을
운이 좀 따라줬으면 좋겠어요, 이번 시즌. 상대가 저그 2명에 투스 1명이라서 붙을 수 있을 확률이 저그가 너무 높은 것 같아요. 그래서 저그전을 이번에 이왕 이렇게 된 거 극복을 한번 해보고 싶기는 하거든요. 솔직히 자신은 있거든요.
아, 김명훈 선수입니다.
ASL 무대에서 너무 못해가지고 저도 항상 올 때마다 너무 걱정을 많이 하거든요. 오늘도 걱정 진짜 많이 하고 왔는데
최재 김민철 완벽.
생각보다 내가 너무 잘하니까 또 되게 자만하게 될 것 같아서 8강 진짜 자만 안 하고 연습 열심히 해서 4강 꼭 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
안녕하세요, 김명원입니다. 저는 그래도 가운데 있는 퀸을 하고 싶거든요, 요거를. 솔직히 처음에는 제가 살짝 관종기가 있어가지고 관심을 받고 싶어서 실력에 비해서 좀 더 관심을 받고 싶어서 썼었던 유닛이거든요. 많이 안 쓰고 있는데 퀸을 쓰는 경기가 나왔으면 좋겠어요.
퀸 말고는 거의 다 나오거든요, 게임할 때. 프로토스 스카웃만큼이나 안 나오는 유닛이어가지고 제가 그거를 써보면 어떨까 해서 쓰게 됐었어요. 김구현 선수랑 했을 때도 토스전에서 퀸을 활용하면서 인페스티드 테란을 사용을 했었거든요.
그걸 생각하고 있는 거예요. 지금 인페스트 테란으로
잡고 가라가죠.
아, 이거 곡소리 나겠습니다. 프로토스.
지금 그런 걸 하면은 흔히 말하는 극찬을 받을 것 같은 플레이였거든요. 그게 많이 기억에 남아요. 그다음은 힘 숨기기인데 평소에 게임을 잘 못하거나 지면은 힘을 숨긴다. 분명은 또 대회 때 잘하려고 빌드 숨기고 힘 숨기고 다 숨긴다 라고 하는데 사실은 그게 아니에요. 대회 때는 그만큼 치밀하고 열심히 준비를 해와가지고 잘하는 거니까 좋게 봐주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 그 다음은 3위인데 이거 그 3회 우승 그거잖아요. 지금 참가하는 선수들 중에 우승자가
박상현, 김지성, 이재호, 김민철의 변현재, 조일장, 김명, 유영진
없는 걸로 알고 있는데 우승자로서 이번에도 우승을 해가지고 좀 최강자 자리에 한 명이 있는 게 좋을 것 같긴 해가지고 저도 욕심이 나는 숫자고 쉽진 않을 것 같은데 꼭 해내고 싶어요. 저도 많은 분들이 변현재 선수를 떠올리실 텐데 저도 우승을 한다면 변현재 선수를 잡고 우승을 하고 싶긴 하거든요.
자, 8강의 유일한 프로토스 선수 변현재 선수입니다. 김지성 선수와 프로토스 변현재 선수가 8강 B조에서 경기를 펼치게 됐습니다.
네, 이 서울 생활 그건 잘 모르겠어요. 왜냐면 항상 집에서 개인 방송만 하고 옛날에 현역 때도 숙소 생활만 하고 거의 안 나갔었거든요. 지금도 그렇긴 한데 서울 생활이 좋은 거는 그래도 여자친구랑 가까이 지내가지고 이번에 8강 이기면은 4연속 시드인데 그것도 되게 욕심이 나거든요. 그래서 이번에 꼭 8강전 이기고 4연속 시드 일단 획득한 다음에 3회 우승 꼭 도전하도록 하겠습니다.
Welcome back, everybody. The best of 5 continues on. I think we saw Queen play a masterful late game ZVZ, ultimately getting that air attack upgrade, forcing a fight over the main, one he knew SoulKey would not be able to win. And if you can take out the Spire, you've won the game.
Yeah, really overwhelmed. You can see how spores early on are so good against mutas, but when you get a critical mass, man, anti-air just doesn't do that much.
Yeah, and I think SoulKey did a really good job of fighting back. I mean, we saw that third base was punished over and over again. There were some moments it looked like SoulKey might even be able to swing the game back into his advantage, but Queen basically stayed on top, really taking advantage of having the offense the entire time, and drove home with a win.
Yeah, super well played, and it kind of went as you would expect, right? Like SoulKey trying to go for a bigger macro game and then trying to utilize that advantage, whereas Queen stayed pretty aggressive throughout. Now, we're going to go to Largo, another big 4-player map. I don't think it'll play out too differently than Polypoid.
All right, guys, we're going to go to that map now. Remember, Queen with a 1-0 lead so far. Let's see if SoulKey can even this out, or if Queen's just going to get further and further ahead. Okay, we've got SoulKey in the bottom right and Queen in the top right. We have the same spawns as that we had in Game 1 on Polypoid. Here now on Largo.
Queen making his duck lips there to go with that duck mask he was wearing earlier.
We were joking about that when we weren't recording that there's a whole bunch of different types of masks people wear during this pandemic, but I do not approve of the one Queen has. I think it looks too much like a duck.
Yeah, it's like a duck someone punched. I don't know. Don't I wear a mask that kind of looks like that?
Oh yeah, you do wear duck masks as well.
Yeah, and then you wear the TV actor that's trying to play a surgeon mask.
Yeah, but mine is black because I'm cool. I have black masks. I am very much on top of my fashion, man. When the pandemic started, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna have these white-colored masks like I'm in a dental office or something. Like I'm gonna fill your crowns in here, some fucking loser. I'm gonna have a fucking cool black mask. I'm gonna look like a ninja.
Like some loser. The dentist is a loser for putting your crowns on. I gotta tell you, Tasteless, I feel a lot better since that.
Wow, I just realized for the number of people that watch this, there's gonna be a couple offended dentists.
Oh, for sure dentists watched ASL, man, 100%.
I'm leaving a couple orthodontists unsure of where they stand, too.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow, double hatch in main for SoulKey.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, a very different strategy. We don't see this anywhere near as often, but every now and then someone mixes it in. It's going to give you a lot more larva. It's very easily defendable. Like, you can go more drone heavy with this into your mutas so that you are only blocking a ramp with the lings. You can go very heavy ling with this as well. I like it. I like that SoulKey's mixing something like this in one game.
Yeah. Whenever I see two hatches in the main, I am immediately pulled back into my childhood. Now, did you play any Zerg when you first got the game?
Yeah.
So you were there along with all other people who were like 15 or 16 years old thinking, man, it just seems like ZVZ, you got to get fucking mutas. There's no way around it. I don't know how to stop this. It seems like you're just forced into doing it. Maybe someday someone's going to figure this out. What is going on?
Holy crap.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He just made a hatchery.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He made a hatchery.
Shut this off.
We're not. This is definitely not a cast for the blind here. Sorry, he hit a hatch.
You're listening to this on your radio. You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. He hit it on the right, adjacent to a gas geyser. But I feel like this is a bad roll of the dice here because Queen is in the top right spawn. So inevitably, something's going to pass through this area to spot that.
Yeah, his Overlord went up, and Queen had veered his Overlord that was going to the south to the bottom left. So when mutas come out, the mutas will see SoulKey's hatchery, but I think what SoulKey is actually using this for is a ling either overwhelm or to just run by, right? If there's a bunch of lings at the bottom of his ramp, obviously he can bring the lings from the new hatchery over. Also, he hasn't even seen the additional hatchery in SoulKey's main. So SoulKey's sitting here on 3 hatch, and as far as Queen knows, it's 1 hatch. That couldn't be more different.
What a crazy game this is.
Yeah.
Just to finish that point I was making earlier, I always wondered when I started playing StarCraft if ZVZ was always going to be mutas, and it's funny to see that like 23, 24 years later, it's like, no, this is still the way to play. No one ever figured out how to get Hydras or anything else.
Although that being said, I used to go Hydra in the matchup. But
Yeah. Well, there was a cheesy 2-hatch Hydra build you could do.
All right, well, here we go. That's a lot of lings coming down the ramp. So, Queen is going to be in some trouble, I think, because there's a lot of lings actually being made at this additional hatch as well. Here we go. He's going for a counterattack now, and I believe there's a colony on the way. Queen continues to rally down, but I mean, there's 2 hatches in the main here. I can't imagine he holds on.
Oh, and 6 lings is a real threat over here. It almost seems like Queen was trying to, or SoulKey was trying to force a fight down the ramp, and when you're both trying to force a fight, one of you has to be wrong. But now these lings can get into this area. They can start to kill the lings off that are going to be hatching right out here. It's just going to be drones remaining. I don't know that Queen is going to be able to survive this, especially as the onslaught of lings continues on. 3 hatches versus 2.
Yeah, the drones all coming down now to fight, but this should be an overwhelm of lings here from SoulKey. He's up 7 supply, which is gigantic in this matchup. Runs forward, gets on top of everything. The drones with a beautiful drill, but will that end up being enough?
Yeah, I just don't know that there's going to be any way for Queen to stabilize. So many more Zerglings are coming up here. There's only 4 with the rest of these drones. Really good control here by Queen, but it's probably not going to be enough. So now these workers are going to be taken out, and it looks like SoulKey just out-strategized Queen.
Crazy. What a strat right there. I would not want to be a Zerg player on the ladder for the next week or
Look
so
at the
because
salt.
yeah, well that's something you really don't expect. Like 2 hatches in the main already. We were talking about how it's a very rare build to see, although it exists. And then to hide a hatchery there of all places, crazy.
Yeah, Queen definitely frustrated with that loss. You know, we were talking about this earlier, but, you know, there's a lot of subtleties to the matchup. And, you know, we're really having 2 very different Zergs. I mean, we've got Queen, who's hyper-modern and very good with control, particularly with muted control. But then you've got SoulKey, who's always been very, very smart at how to abuse builds. And this was him really coming in here with a punish. Now, of course, I don't think you can use that build. You can't have that recycled into the best of 5 again. But what other tricks does SoulKey have up his sleeve?
Well, you can see he's well prepped, so I think there are going to be other crazy builds that he's going to be pulling out here. I think he's playing a very strategic series right now, and Queen is going to have to try to account for that. But how do you account for a build like that you've just never even seen?
Yeah, brilliant play there by SoulKey. Kind of baited out that fight. And now we're going to have another break, guys. We'll be back with Game 3 in just a little bit. Do not go away.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6. 숙취 요즘 누가 저렇게 깨니? 맨날 똑같은 거, 맛없는 거 깨. 이제 탄산으로 깨. 숙취 해소의 새로운 기준. 가스강. 환도 역시 가스강이 대세.
양념 툭툭, 올리브유 또르르. 우와, 그리고 제로. 너무 좋다. 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로. 함께 모이면 홈파티. 홈파티엔 먹방. 먹방엔 칠성사이다. 맛있어. 맛있는 자리에 빠질 수 없는 청량함. 칠성사이다.
퇴근하고 뭐해?
퇴근하고? 오늘은 유셰프, 내일은 유러너, 주말엔 유목수?
그걸 다?
본캐부터 부캐까지 하고 싶은 게 많은 요즘 시대의 커피. 칸타타 콘트라베이스.
디자인하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 부분은 울트라 기어의 차별화된 브랜드 메시지를 잘 나타내는 것입니다. 신과 영웅들의 최강의 무기들을 검토하였습니다. 그중 니케의 승리의 날개를 모티브로 지금의 울트라 기어의 로고가 탄생하게 되었습니다. 울트라 기어의 이니셜인 U와 G를 비상하는 날개의 형상으로 레드 색상을 사용하여 강력한 에너지와 힘을 나타내었습니다. 울트라 기어는 최상의 퍼포먼스로 진정한 게임의 즐거움, 승리의 기쁨을 여러분께 선사할 것입니다.
Oh, you hear that music, Artosis?
Yeah.
Those are the Zerg vs. Zerg trumpets playing.
The Zerg vs. Zerg trumpets.
That's right. Get the ZVZ trumpets ready.
Oh, man. The ZVZ. Welcome to ZVZ Marching Band. Oh, my God. That's so funny.
Guys, as a quick reminder here, thank you, everybody who's supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/ASL English. We are no longer paid by AfreecaTV to cast these matches. We rely on your support. And if you do support us on Patreon, you can have access to the top secret Tastosis podcast.
Yep. We're trying to keep it a secret, guys. Don't tell anyone else about it.
But
it's really fantastic.
Anyone. Yeah. You can find out all sorts of our opinions, or you can hear our chatter. You can find out that Dan thinks George Bush blew up the Twin Towers. No, not really, but you can hear us banter and hang out before the show.
All right. Let's get into game number 3. We have quite a series for sleeves here, Tasteless.
We do, man. I got to say, SoulKey, he really flipped the game on its head. The problem is how many more techniques like that does SoulKey have up his sleeve, or can he rely on playing a more straight-up game? I think we're really seeing two very different players. Queen wants to play straight up. He wants to tech to mutas. He wants to micro his lings, and SoulKey did something very, very, very sneaky. An excellent move in a best of 5, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen now in Game 3.
Yeah, I think it's really broken wide open at this point. We had that one really long macro game and then the crazy all-in from SoulKey. Not sure what to expect here going into Ascension as our third map.
Yeah, Ascension, I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect, guys. We're actually going to hop into this game a little bit quicker than I was even ready for. This is Game 3. The winner here will take the lead in this best of 5 to be the first player in the round of 4.
All right, so SoulKey up at 12 o'clock. And in the bottom right, we have Queen. Yeah, I think anything is really possible at this point. We've just seen... I mean, it's only been 2 games, but neither of them really looked like what we're used to, right? I'm so used to seeing, like, 9 pool... like, a game like Game 1, except one that ends much quicker,
Right. Yeah, this is going to be... I don't know. I've got my fingers crossed that SoulKey has something cool up his sleeve, but certainly he can't recycle another hatchery build like that in again, right?
No, I wouldn't think so. That would... I mean, the thing is, as is, it did end up working, but if Queen had caught any wind of it, he could have held it, Like, if you pull your lings back a little bit quicker there and have a sunken up, you're just not going to be broken.
So we're waiting to see, is it going to be hatchery or spawning pool first? And this time around, nobody's actually gone for the immediate pool, so no 9 pool just yet.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we're going to have a pool on 12 here for Queen. SoulKey going for hatchery first. Hatch on 11. And there's some padding on both sides. Nothing particularly dramatic is happening here. Obviously, pool first is the opposite of hatch first, but it wasn't a super quick pool. It was not a pool on 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a more conservative pool where you're going to be able to hold on against rushes, but you still have a reasonable economy here. And looks like Queen wants to go ahead and make his hatchery as well. The Overlord going to catch that and see exactly the timing. So nice scouting there from SoulKey.
Okay. We're gonna have, I think, in this case, nobody going for. It's not gonna be 1 base versus 2 base, which is what a lot of ZVZs can end up being. We're both gonna see each player expand, and this is where I don't know about you, Artosis, but I always kind of have. How do I say this? I'm never that sure of ZVZ when it sets up like this. Like, you both get the expansions out. I'm curious, like, if anybody can even be ahead naturally right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I think it's considered that SoulKey has a slight lead on Queen, but it's not like... Obviously, these guys can kind of play around that. This isn't
right.
Some big difference like the 9 pool against 12 hatch where you end up killing 2 drones or something, right? Like, that would be like, oh, okay, well, this guy's almost dead. But as is, there's a lot of play, I think, on both sides here. But, yeah, I would say SoulKey does have just that slight edge. You know, you get your hatchery just a little bit quicker. You're going to get just a few more larvae. You're going to, which is going to let you get your drones out a little bit quicker or more lings. So his economy looking pretty strong. He does have his layer on the way as well.
And, it's important to note as well, we're probably not going to have Evos made here. Evolution Chambers.
Yeah.
Or I should say one Evolution Chamber, which means no spores. Which means counterattacking with air or ground is going to be extremely strong on both sides. So it's very important that you can try to get control of the matchup as early as possible. Also, keep in mind that, the main, for instance, is very counterattackable by air here. SoulKey's main is. Whereas it's going to be the natural that's going to be more likely to be counterattacked by air here for Queen.
Yeah, that's right. And, I mean, that definitely can play a part in this. They both do have Spires on the way, right? So we're in this kind of small Ling's arm race, and it seems like SoulKey has enough to hold off Queen's little attack that Queen tries to send. I saw him try to split 2 Lings off there, so that's going to be something SoulKey has to look out for. But, yeah, it seems like the game is gearing up to be a very even game where whoever blinks first might die.
Yeah. So the Ling arms race is going to continue on now. Now, there are some plays you can go into as the Spires are close to finishing, and sometimes what you can do is just continue to make Lings, and if they're basically saving up Larva to morph into Mutalisks, you can blindside them, and we may be seeing a setup for that here from Queen.
A lot of Lings out on the map. Look at this. Queen with the 2 groups right now. Kind of running around the long way as SoulKey dogs him. But look at this. Comes up with his Lings, and he is going to force that back. A nice surround. Gets a kill, but then SoulKey comes out with the rest of his, and Queen has to turn around.
Yeah, Queen now on the run here. 2 Lings are going to break off and head up there, but it's going to be immediately shut down as SoulKey is not stopping with his Ling production. We've got a lot more on the way. The Spire finishes, but I think nobody's making a mutant just yet. It's going to be mass Ling versus Ling.
Yeah, they definitely both have to pump out as many Lings as is possible right now. SoulKey coming in. He is up just slightly in supply. Don't forget, he did get those hatcheries first. So comes in, gets some decent surface area thus far. Pretty decent defense from Queen, but it seems like he's being overwhelmed.
Oh my god, there's just way too many Zerglings here. And now he cannot manage to defend both of these. Mutas are going to come out, but I mean, how much damage is going to be dealt before this can actually be cleaned up here? I think SoulKey is probably going to give him enough damage that I don't know the Queen can recover.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of drones are going to end up falling here. Just not enough damage output from these mutas, so the drones being absolutely destroyed. Only 4 left in the main. Only 4 left total for Queen. Yeah, that does not look like it's a game that he's going to have any chance in. Like, from here, SoulKey's on 2 gas. He already has more mutas than Queen as well. I think he can just kind of start pumping out Scourge even, and he should be able to take this down.
Yeah, these, I think this should basically be unwinnable. I mean, you can see the mutas are coming out, but, SoulKey's already just going to have more, and he can keep making more, too. And so, we could see the tactics attempted with these Scourge, but it's not going to matter. GG! Game 3 goes to SoulKey, who has once again strategically flipped the game on its head and is now in the lead. He just needs one more victory, and he's going to be that first player going to the Final Four.
Yeah, this is some pressure on Queen. You win a couple seasons in a row, but then you're only top 4, and now are you going to be only top 8? Is this a real slump coming for Queen, or is he going to be able to fight back here against SoulKey?
Yeah, sneaky SoulKey has done it again. Kind of behaving defensively and calling the bluff here on Queen, saying, you're not actually mass-making Lings. You're not going to actually attack enemy, and flooded him. We saw the Mutalisks hatch just in time to for the game to end, basically.
Yeah, just in time to watch all the drones die, unfortunately. But, he had to try something there, and not quite enough, so... SoulKey on that match point has to be feeling really comfortable at this point. Can't wait to see what he has for this next map.
I think we're going to have another break here. And then we're going to go into Game 4. Right now, I got to say, SoulKey is looking like he might take this, man. He just needs another sneaky win like that. I like that he's kind of almost staying above the messiness of you know, the Ling fights, the Muta fights, and instead just kind of making these strategic moves and shutting Queen down.
That's right. All right, guys, quick commercial break, and we come back to see if Queen can tie it up.
이렇게 좋은 날엔 홈캠핑이지. 홈캠핑엔 고기, 고기엔 칠성사이다. 맛있는 자리에 빠질 수 없는 청량함.
완벽하네.
칠성사이다.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
이번 주 등산 어때? 등산. 캠핑? 그래서 주말엔 낚시?
내가 낚인 거지.
그래도 나오니까 좋잖아. 일상에서 취미까지 나누고 싶은 게 많은 요즘 시대의 커피. 칸타타.
야채 착착, 당토 톡톡, 아보카도 슥슥, 그리고 제로. 이렇게 맛있다고? 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로.
숙취 요즘 누가 저렇게 깨니? 맨날 똑같은 거, 맛없는 거 깨. 이제 탄산으로 깨. 숙취 해소의 새로운 기준. 가스강. 환도 역시 가스강이 대세. 힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
아이시스 8.0을 챙긴다는 건 건강한 생각까지 챙긴다는 것. 나를 움직이는 핑크 에너지.
Welcome back, everyone. We now go into Game 4, and I'm a little bit surprised SoulKey's in the lead. Like, I knew this was a possibility, and I really did think this was a very tough ZVZ to call, but SoulKey is basically outwitting Queen here.
Yeah, he's really come in very prepared strategically, and it seems like he has a lot of things mapped out, and he's just kind of strategically beating Queen. I guess you're completely right about that. That's really what we're seeing. It's not like he's out-microing him in any way.
Yeah. It's just like Queen just wants to, like, play his ZVZ fighting game, but Mr. Stratego over here is just outsmarting him.
Yep. Do you think that SoulKey closes it here?
He might. He really might. I think Queen can win one more game, but I don't know that, if SoulKey just takes two more risky games, he might pull off a win with one of them, right?
Yeah.
He's got the momentum. We're going to go to the map Good Night. Good Night for Game 4. Let's get this going. SoulKey will be in the top right, Queen in the bottom right. Our Overlord scouting is going in a counterclockwise fashion for both players. So Queen's Overlord is going to get over the natural first.
That's happened
every
3
game.
out of the 4 games now where Queen is going to be able to scout SoulKey first. So a little bit unlucky for SoulKey.
quick reminder, guys, now only for Patreon supporters, you can get access to these Tastosis secret podcasts. So if you want to get in on that, it's patreon.com/ASL English. You're missing out if you're not hearing it, man. People are laughing. Tastosis are so funny and cool. You don't even know, man. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's having fun, and you're not, because you're not part of it.
But Tastosis, we got to keep it secret. So next time when you say it, whisper it, okay?
Oh, guys, the Tastosis secret podcast. Don't tell anybody. It's over on the Patreon. Come join us. Shh, don't tell anybody else, though. Okay, we actually have quick pool, quick gas for SoulKey, which is mirroring what Queen is doing. And so we're going to end up with a pretty quick, aggressive game on both sides where I think they're both going to be on one hatch.
Mirrored builds?
Yeah.
That's new. That should favor Queen, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, unless SoulKey has some super secret tech ready for that.
I feel like there's a lot less you can get away with on one hatch, though. You know?
Well, it could be one of these games where it's like kind of a bigger map, and SoulKey's like, you know what? This is where I bust out the normal build, and that's the last thing he'll expect.
Yeah. I've done all my crazy builds, and now I'm just going to do a straight-up aggro ZVZ.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, if Queen chooses the wrong build here, suddenly SoulKey can maybe close it out. That would be a really frustrating way to lose for Queen as well. If he's like, damn, that's the build I wanted you to do before.
Okay, so the sixlings are out. Now, looks like Queen is going to be out a little bit more quickly, so he's going to fork off 2 of these Zerglings. He can only do this because of the Overlord scouting paths they both took. Keep in mind, Queen basically knows what's going on right now. SoulKey does not.
Yeah.
And so these 2 lings hidden over here, they're going to be used to counterattack into the main. And again, when you're on, one hatch on both sides, you do not have that many drones, which means it's even more impactful if you lose any workers.
And by the way, we just saw SoulKey send a ling through the center to try to spot various moves that Queen could be doing, such as exactly what he's doing. But he actually has his lings a little bit further on the side, so they did not get spotted.
They're quite far out.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is going to be, when will Queen use these 2 lings? One would have to imagine it's basically impossible for SoulKey to break Queen up on the high ground. Notice that Queen is actually keeping a couple lings further back to obfuscate what is actually over there on his side. That may end up baiting SoulKey into attacking up there, only for him to then realize actually there's plenty more up there. And I mean, it's true in general in ZVZ, but it's even more so true if you both started out one hatching into pool gas, that every unit is so important right now.
Yeah, you literally have a set amount of larvae that you could have. Now he actually comes in with those lings and flanks. Look at that flank, the 2 Zerg flank. You thought that we were lying before about every single unit mattering. You can see right there that suddenly Queen breaks out, only 1 ling left over for SoulKey here. He's in a bit of trouble, Tasteless. Like, he has 8 lings being made and 4 on his ramp, I want to say, or 4 lings being made, 4 on his ramp. That's going to be hard to hold on.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to be able to keep this hatchery here. We have 1 ling that's going to run back through here, get confirmation of where the Spire is at. This is, 5 Zerglings down here attacking this hatchery. We have 4 ready to defend, but he really can't commit. So we have some footsies going on back and forth with the lings.
Yeah, coming down, trying to get... Ooh, good surface area there by Queen. Puts a lot of damage on one of SoulKey's lings. SoulKey has enough lings now. So Queen does pull back, tries to slip one up, can't quite get it. SoulKey doing a good job zoning these lings out. Oh, 3 get past. Uh-oh, this could be bad.
Okay, he's coming now into the main. The Spire almost done, targeting one of these drones. He pulls it away in time, though.
Ling's going to run around. It is a pretty good Sim City, so it's going to take the moment to get back through the minerals somewhere. They're coming back up. 2 lings in the mineral line here to kind of ruin that idea. But, ooh, 1 drone does get picked off here for SoulKey. In the meantime, there are mutas on the way.
Yeah, the second hatchery is done, so he has double the production. I just don't know how many Mutalisks are actually going to hatch. Right now, 3 is a pretty scary number. The Scourge do come out. They both disengage from each other.
Maybe that's the play right there, Tasteless, is he just makes the Scourge for those defensive purposes. He does have a lot of lings out, a couple mutas here as well.
These, 4 Mutalisks are out now. It's 4 Scourge and I believe 2 Mutas. Now 6 Scourge.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense, right? Like, you spent so many minerals getting that additional hatchery that you can use your gas on the Scourge, but maybe you don't have enough to make quite as many Mutas as Queen. So a lot of this should come down to the micro of Queen.
Okay, he's going to pursue him. And keep in mind, if these... Okay, he's going to back up. I was going to say, you have to target the Scourge before you can fight the Mutas. So one way to try to force a fight and win is you have enough Scourge chasing them that your Mutas can keep firing moving shots onto their Mutas while their Mutas are trying to snipe down your Scourge.
Now, does he have enough for that maneuver? 6 Mutas flying up, checking, no drones in that natural, but he is taking the gas. So that kind of puts a little bit of a timer here on Queen. He can't let SoulKey mine twice as much gas as him. That's a death wish.
It's a death sentence, Tastosis, not a death wish. It's like it's a death. You're like, it's a death note, Tastosis. I'm like, it's not that either, Tastosis.
You'll wish for death, Tastosis, because there'll be so many Mutas on the other side. You aren't in charge of me. You're not my mom.
It's a death wish.
It's a death wish, Tastosis.
Wow, this is some very high quality casting. Yeah.
My Zerk Berserk always is tasteless.
Oh, the Scourge. Okay, nice shot here from Queen. These Scourge are not connecting. Oh my god, I think he just out-microed him.
Yeah, it seems that way. SoulKey could be in some trouble as Queen comes back now trying to get hits with his Scourge, but he's not really connecting. This micro from Queen might be too strong. Brings up his own Scourge here as well, and I think that's it. I think Queen's going to take game number 4.
Yeah, I think Queen just outplayed him, man. Just completely better control. And I think there's really no recourse here. GG, we're tied up 2-2.
All right, Queen not needing to take that death wish. Stopping the game before the double gas was successful from
I guess
SoulKey.
you could say that Queen wrote his name in his Death Note notebook, right, Tastosis? Are we doing it right?
His Death Note notebook, Tasteless.
Where whoever's name he writes down then gets eliminated from the ASL.
Well, he wrote down SoulKey's Mutas, and then he went after him, Tasteless.
Oh my god. All right, guys. We're going to be going to Game 5. This has been a great ZVZ today. Again, the themes of SoulKey's strategic maneuverability and kind of juking and jiving, tricking Queen when he can, but, it does just seem like Queen is a stronger Muta player, is a little bit better at controlling his lings. Who knows who's going to take this, though? Again, it's dead even right now.
Yeah, well, we're going into that rubber match. Game number 5 going to be coming up here pretty shortly. What is your gut? Who wins this one, Tasteless?
I really don't know. Maybe
I think
Queen.
Queen's going to squeeze it out. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're almost guaranteed SoulKey's going to do something cheesy.
Well, even that game, right? He tried to squeeze out that extra hatchery. It didn't quite work out for him. Okay, Revolver going to be our last map. Quick commercial break, and then we decide who goes to the round of 4.
아이시스 8.0을 연다는 건 조금 이른 아침을 연다는 것. 나를 움직이는 핑크 에너지. 아이시스 8.0.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
함께 모이면 홈파티. 홈파티엔 먹방. 먹방엔 칠성사이다. 맛있어. 맛있는 자리에 빠질 수 없는 청량함. 칠성사이다.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
퇴근하고 뭐해? 퇴근하고? 오늘은 유셰프, 내일은 유러너, 주말은 유목수? 그걸 다? 본캐부터 부캐까지 하고 싶은 게 많은 요즘 시대의 커피. 칸타타 콘트라베이스.
디자인을 하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 부분은 울트라 기어의 차별화된 브랜드 메시지를 잘 나타내는 것입니다. 신과 영웅들의 최강의 무기들을 검토하였습니다. 그중 니케의 승리의 날개를 모티브로 지금의 울트라 기어의 로고가 탄생하게 되었습니다. 울트라 기어의 이니셜인 U와 G를 비상하는 날개의 형상으로 레드 색상을 사용하여 강력한 에너지와 힘을 나타내었습니다. 울트라 기어는 최상의 퍼포먼스로 진정한 게임의 즐거움, 승리의 기쁨을 여러분께 선사할 것입니다.
It's time to settle this. The last ZVZ game of the night starts now. SoulKey versus Queen. It has been close. It has been a tough one to call throughout, but I don't know who's going to take this, man. I mean, we were in agreement before the commercial came that like Queen does seem to be better at the the ZVZ-ish part of this, but
yeah,
there's room for some tricky stuff. And with ZVZ. You can't just go, oh, you're going to cheese me and play safe. That doesn't work in this matchup.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that, because if you are actually turtling and your opponent is doing anything even remotely normal, you're going to die. So you have to be, even making one sunken, you're like, okay, that's a huge investment. That's a drone plus enough money to make 3 drones and the minerals for some Scourge. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's you can know cheese is coming and not be able to stop it. So, I mean, SoulKey's got that. There's certain matchups where, like, if you know Zerg's just going to cheese a Protoss, it's like, okay, just keep making cannons, just keep being safe. But ZVZ doesn't quite work like that. So, let's see, man. If SoulKey moves on, though, it would be huge.
ZVZ is kind of like a matchup where the attacker has the advantage, not the defender. When you're attacking your opponent, you're so close to doing damage to their economy, not just their army, and that's how you end up winning the game.
It's going to be Revolver for the final map. I mean, I don't know who takes the Startosis, but this has been a great ZVZ so far, I'll say that much.
I think a lot of this is going to come down to what SoulKey has prepared, because we know that if it gets somewhat normal, Queen has an edge there. But maybe SoulKey has something wild for us.
I don't think that SoulKey is going to go for pool first. Or 9
I think he's going mass sling, Tasteless. I think he's going mass sling.
Could be, man. All right, guys. Our game is ready to go. The winner is going to be the first player to get to the Final Four of ASL. SoulKey versus Queen. Let's settle this. So we've got cross spawns this time. Queen in the top left, SoulKey in the bottom right.
You know what? That's a perfect way to end this one.
Yeah, it really is.
With the cross spawns, really. Yeah, it's a lot harder to actually attack each other. No one is likely to have a scouting advantage when you're cross spawns as well, which is something that we've seen, primarily from Queen in this series. So I like it.
Yeah. I hadn't really, until we started this cast, factored in the consequences of SoulKey advancing, but that would be an insane plot twist in this tournament, considering how dominant Queen is and has been in the last 2 years. Like, I knew it was going to be a pretty good ZVZ, and I kind of just assumed that Queen probably advances, but man, if SoulKey moves on, and the thing is, SoulKey's very good at, ZVP, ZVT, right? This would be a huge milestone for him.
Yeah. And so, I guess if you look at his side of the bracket, like, there's a very good chance he goes to the finals. And, like, SoulKey hasn't won ASL yet. He's a KSL champion.
Right.
But he doesn't have that ASL victory, which honestly, he's one of the players that really should have one that doesn't have it, right? Kind of like a Best or a Snow or something.
This is wild. He actually got gas really early. Queen did.
Oh.
Like really early. It's already done.
Yeah, gas.
And
really
he got his pool at a more normal time here. It was like gas on 9, I think. I might be wrong, but this is interesting because I wonder if he can basically get Ling speed and a layer at the same time.
That has to be what it's for. It's not like
Yeah.
he's saving gas for Baneling stasis. Like it's got to be those two. And you know what? Overlords can see burrowed Lings, so I don't think it's that either. Like I can't think of anything else he would possibly be trying to get. The coolest thing would be see like an Evo or something, but I can't imagine. Right? Seems impossible.
No, I mean I don't think so. There was this whole period where like people got Evo chambers in ZVZ back in the Stone Age of the game, where it's like, well, I could just get +1 attack and then I beat his Lings, but now it seems like the matchup has just become so tight.
Yeah, Mewtwo's come out too quickly for that nowadays.
Yeah.
I think your +1 Lings actually don't do anything against Mewtwo's still, believe it or not.
So the layer is coming along here. Now, this is a bit of a tricky build in that because they're in cross spawns, like, SoulKey still doesn't know if this is even hatchery first or something like that. And he may have a bad read here. Like, he may see Lings with speed at the ramp and then not appreciate that a layer is actually inbound as well. You know what I'm saying?
Look at the gas bank, by the way, for Queen. Like, he's actually getting another hatchery here as well. So I think it seems to me, Tasteless, like what he wants to go for here is just like turtle up on this base, and he just has that extra gas, and he's like just get more Mewtwo's than his opponent. Like that seems like a pretty good idea to play that way against SoulKey.
Did you see if he got Ling speed? Queen did.
I did not notice, but with the amount of gas he has, and the fact he started saying a hatch, my gut tells me no.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. I just assumed it was Ling speed and a layer, but yeah, he's at 400 gas now. And, I mean, the Spire is coming along here for SoulKey as well, but he's going to basically be able to make 6 Mutalisks or 5 Mutas and a Scourge immediately.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty scary to deal with, honestly. Like that's the type of situation where it might come across the map and you just die. When your puny little like 3 Mutas are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to try to break up. SoulKey starts to attack up the ramp. Queen though with some backup Lings behind. Yeah.
He needs to try to come in here and do some damage. Nice drone pull. Keep in mind the drones can fire over the Lings.
Yeah, if you haven't placed correctly, they're having a little bit of a hard time now. None of them have taken any shots as of yet. Queen continues to try to hold at his ramp. Ooh, taking a really poor engagement there for a moment. SoulKey started to make some headway, but more Lings coming down for Queen.
So he forces out a little bit more.
Oh, that one drone is actually really screwing this up for SoulKey right now. Oh, and he slips in. Running around now. He's actually losing some extra Lings, but let's see if he can get some damage done with them. Gets up here. He's going to kill a drone.
Yep. Can he get a second one? Oh! There's more Lings coming up here. Now, again, you know, the tricky thing is that he has no idea that there's this much gas banked up here. So he may have Mutalisks coming in here. He may be shocked when he sees all these Mutas suddenly hatch and rise up. It's still 450 gas right now for Queen, so he's banked up quite a bit. I love hiding the Lings over here.
That's clever. Oh, he scouts it, though. And he's going to get the kills on all of those as well. Queen still with 500 gas in the bank as he's making his Mutas. I'm kind of liking Queen's position here with the double hatch and all that gas in the bank.
Yeah, me too. No, I dig it, man. No, I really like Queen's position here. But how many Mutas are out right now for SoulKey? Is that about 5?
It's got 6 right now.
I think you're right, 6. And
I just count the shadows, Tasteless, because I'm too afraid to look the Mutas in the eyes.
Now, He could also end up using some of that extra gas to get an upgrade too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could. Yeah,
you could be getting armor or maybe attack. I mean, if the build's tight enough, you could get attack. Attack upgraded mutas do beat not attack upgraded mutas, you know.
Yeah, no, attack is a great upgrade. Nothing wrong with getting attack if that's what you want to get. I think it has to do with having that finish and hitting that timing, though.
Oh, man. These overlords are stray. Oh, moving shot here from Queen.
Yeah, additional muta comes in. They actually have very similar amounts of mutas here. It seems like Queen's micro might be just slightly better, but as these Scourge come up, I get a little bit nervous for him. Oh, the Scourge. He's trying to micro against some more mutas coming down. We're closer to Queen's base, and he hits with the Scourge. He's going to be able to take the Stasis. I think SoulKey is dead and out of the ASL.
Yeah, the last muta is going to get shot down here, and that's going to be it. Unreal. There's just no way to protect the drones now. The mutas are going to fly into the main, and I think that is basically the end of our story, is that Queen is now, once again, going to be in the final four of ASL. Great control. Look at that.
Yeah.
The mutas actually shoot from behind themselves.
And I gotta tell you what, Tastosis, GG. Queen does go to that round of 4, and Queen's record now in ASL, this is getting to Flash levels of domination.
Yeah.
Okay, he has 2 championships back-to-back, and now 2 top 4s in a row after that. That's insane. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets to the finals again here.
Yeah, this is wild, man. I feel for SoulKey. I think Queen, did the appropriate build there, and basically had a better fight. You know, there's a really smart build we saw there from Queen. There was this was just a really deep ZVZ in general, man. The series.
Yeah, it was. It was actually a really interesting ZVZ. Very, very happy with the games that we had here tonight.
Guys, we're going to go to an interview now with Queen, see how he's feeling. He is one of the 4 players that will manage to survive to the next phase of ASL, defeating SoulKey 3-2.
ASL 시즌12 8강 첫 경기가 끝났습니다. 오늘 이번 시즌의 첫 4강 진출자 김명훈 선수인데요. 군대 전역한 이후 모든 시즌에서 4강에 오르고 있는 김명훈 선수와 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
4시즌 연속으로 자력 시드권 획득입니다. 이 기록 자체가 김명훈 선수에게 굉장히 남다를 것 같은데요. 풀세트 끝에 4강에 다시 한번 오르신 소감 어떠신가요?
네, 오늘 솔직히 자신 있다고는 말은 했는데 민철이가 적어도 못하질 않아요. 그래서 힘들지 않을까 생각은 했는데 마음 비우고 편하게 했던 게 잘 됐던 것 같아요.
첫 번째 세트 승리를 거두시기는 했습니다만 세 번째 세트까지 다시 한번 좀 스코어를 내주면서 심리적으로 많이 흔들리셨을 것 같아요. 더군다나 빌드 자체가 김민철 선수가 계속 좀 웃는 빌드가 만들어져서 경기를 하면서도 계속 좀 흔들리지 않을까 싶었거든요. 어떠셨어요?
민철이가 되게 준비를 열심히 잘해왔더라고요. 그래가지고 김윤환을 놓친 게 이렇게 크게 다가오나 이런 생각도 들었어요. 빌드가 너무 좋아가지고 근데 그거는 준비를 잘했기 때문에 어쩔 수 없이 당했을 수밖에 없다고 생각을 했거든요. 네, 그래서 뭐 멘탈 무너지지 않고 좀 침착하게 했던 게 잘 됐던 것 같아요.
첫 번째 세트에서 결국 좀 업그레이드해서 우위를 점하면서 본진을 무너뜨리고 승리를 거두셨어요. 그때 왠지 좀 컨트롤에서만큼은 김명훈 선수가 흔들림이 없겠다라고 말씀하시는 분들도 많았는데 그래서 그런지 이 네 번째 세트 굿나잇에서도 좀 컨트롤로 좀 승리를 가져가기 위한 뮤탈이지 않았나 싶었거든요. 어떠셨어요?
뮤탈 대 뮤탈 싸움만 가면은 뭐 민철이든 누구든 안 진다는 자신감이 있어가지고 뮤탈까지만 넘어가면은 무조건 이긴다고 생각을 했어요.
그래서 역시 마지막 세트에서도 빠르게 가스를 채취하면서 뮤탈로 좀 경기를 끝내는 모습이었습니다. 확실히 경험이 많은 김명훈 선수답게 판짜기에서 조금은 우위를 점하지 않았나 하는 생각이 드는데요. 자, 이제 4강에서는 김지성 선수와 변현재 선수의 경기에서 승리한 선수를 만나게 될 것 같습니다. 대진에 대해서는 생각이 좀 어떠세요?
하필이면 또 4강에서 변현재를 만날 수도 있는 상황이 나왔는데 저는 많은 분들이 변현재 대 김명훈을 보고 싶어 하시겠지만 저는 김지성을 원하거든요. 예, 그래서 지성이가 꼭 이기고 올라왔으면 좋겠어요.
많은 분들이 오늘 김명훈 선수와 김민철 선수의 경기를 보면서 대회 김명훈 선수는 정말 다르다라는 말씀을 많이 해주셨습니다. 그렇게 4강에 오른 김명훈 선수를 축하해주고 계시는 팬들에게도 한 말씀 전해주시죠.
네, 제가 어떻게 하다 보니까 이번에도 4연속으로 4강에 오르게 됐는데 평소에 좋은 모습을 못 보여드려도 대회 때면은 믿어주시고 응원해주셔서 너무 감사드리고요. 또 뭐 연습 도와준 선수들한테 네, 고맙고 그리고 저번에 말을 못했거든요. 네, 여자친구가 제가 몸이 안 좋았는데 되게 잘 챙겨줘가지고 16강도 잘 올라갔고 이제 좀 몸 좀 괜찮아져가지고 이제 우승까지 노릴 수 있을 것 같은데 네, 잘 챙겨줘서 너무 고맙다고 전하고 싶어요.
네, ASL 정말 강력한 저그 김명훈 선수의 다시 한번 4강 진출을 축하드립니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 이번 시즌 첫 4강 진출자 김명훈 선수와 함께했습니다.
And there we have it. Queen on to yet another round of 4. Sad to see SoulKey go out with another Zerg vs. Zerg loss. I really feel like each season he is looking at his prime in the other matchups. A Zerg ends up taking him down.
Yeah, you've gotta be able to play all three of the matchups, man, if you're going to become a champion. You know, you can kill Terrans and Zergs all day, but there are other Zergs in the tournament. And so Queen is going to be facing off against the winner of Royal or Mini, and I think that's going to be great no matter how you cut it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think Mini definitely favored there, so a Mini Queen round of 4 I would really be looking forward to, but don't count Royal out. He is really, really strong, and I mean, he's on his way. If he doesn't make top 4 this season, I think in the next few he's going to be up there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to win in this next match as well. You know, Mini is the only Protoss in ASL right now who's gotten to the round of 8. He might advance, and I mean, we'll see if he does. You know, sometimes when we have the one guy that is the only player from that race, he does manage to truck his way through, and ultimately we end up with that golden ratio no matter what.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times when there's just one of the race, it's like this guy is just like really knows what he's doing at that time, right? So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I think he is a bit favored there. In fact, this could be his season as well. If you look at the short list of who really looks like a champion here, I think Queen and Mini are both on it.
I think so. Guys, that is all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us. And also thank you those of you who supported us on Patreon. We love you, and we will see you for that next match very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.